always felt when Pac died, it was because Snoop could have stopped that whole thing. I mean, because like I said, Snoop was a Crip. Pac offended some Crips. Doing some gang, some dumb. Really. It was a whole, set off a whole chain of events. You know, in LA don't get mad, they get even. So, you want a real Pac story? That's my Pac story. Pac would be alive today if he had stayed allies with Snoop and not cross Snoop.
Today, the Las Vegas police finally released the Tupac files, which led to a viral tweet reading, "Is anyone going to mention how Snoop Dogg could have stopped Tupac from passing?" These new files coming out is upsetting, knowing Tupac should still be alive, as after 20 years, the Tupac files were released today. Even Fozy and Love said Snoop Dogg could have stopped it from happening. I always felt a Pac because the Snoop could have stopped that whole thing. I mean, because like I said, Snoop was a __, and Pac offended some Crips, doing some gang, some dumb. Really, it was a whole set-off, a whole chain of events, in LA. They don't get mad, they get either. So you want a real Pac story. That's my Pac story, is Pac would be alive today if he had stayed allies with Snoop, not cross Snoop. As Snoop Dogg got connected to Tupac's passing through Suge Knight. The new police record reads, Detective Russell will suspected Suge Knight arranged Tupac's passing before he could exit the label. Then he framed the rival Crips to throw off the investigators. This raises a question of who is a famous Cry gang member that Suge Knight would want to pin Tupac's passing on. The most famous in the entire world is Snoop Dogg. His file is so interesting when you learn that he was supposed to be in the BMW with Tupac on the night that he sadly passed. You were with Tupac, though, in regards to Tupac. I heard a story. Did you give him different advice that night on where to go? I didn't give him no advice. Right? We wasn't seeing eye to eye, right? So, saying during the Tyson? Yeah, this incident that I'm explaining to you right now was the day before that. Okay, so when I got to Vegas, they went their way. I went back. I mean, when we got to LA, they went to Vegas, and I went home. That's why I wasn't in the car. Isn't in the car with them. As the police were able to find another interview from Snoop Dogg where he reveals that 2 days before Tupac passed, he felt like Tupac hated him. I say a week before he died, we was best of friends. 2 days before I don't think he liked me. Why? Because we was in New York. Oh yeah, and happened. New York, they shot at me and did all kind of to me like just the worst you could think of. And I forgave him and went and did an interview and was asked how do I feel about Puffy and Big. I was like, I want to do some music with him. And I just rubbed cuz the wrong way, like tried to me at you and you talking about you want to do a song with them. I wasn't thinking about his emotions. I was thinking about the way I felt at the time. I wasn't in no controversy. I liked him as music. They was our friends. We was all friends at one point. This video footage of all of us hanging out, with the feeling that Tupac didn't like him anymore. Snoop Dogg mentioned that he didn't get in the BMW. Last-minute changes. He decided to just not go. This was likely due to an altercation Snoop Dogg had with Tupac and Suge Knight on a private jet. The last time he and Tupac was on the same page, and I did an interview with Angie Martinez, and she asked me how did I feel about Puffy and Biggie, and I told her that I like their music, and I want to do music with them. Bro didn't like that. Tupac didn't like that. So we had a misunderstanding. So on the ride on the flight back to LA, I didn't feel comfortable around them for what they had did as far as I didn't let my security ride with me. So to protect myself and to prevent from happening, I slept under a blanket with a knife and the fork just in case something was to go wrong, but it didn't. As with all of this happening within 72 hours of Tupac's passing, it made the police very suspicious. 2 decades ago, Snoop was heavily tapped into the streets. Some speculate Snoop could have received a tip that Tupac was going to be targeted on that night, so he avoided on getting in that car, but others believe he got news that Tupac was a Fed. As an officer would reveal, Tupac was an industry plant with a job of stopping the beef between the Red and the Blue Street teams, which Snoop Dogg was in. Well, it turns out when I talked to Tupac's longtime mentor, political mentor, former Black Panther Choke Lumumba, who was his first business manager, he's told me, I basically asked, well, was Tupac only pretending to be in order to appeal to and politicize them? And he said yes. And that was part of his thug life agenda that he came up with his imprisoned stepfather, Matchless Shakur. And so Tupac was just using that in order to get the leaders to call peace troops, first in Los Angeles, then throughout California, and then throughout the country. And that was why he was pretending to be this type. And really, he was just an intellectual prodigy. But here's where it gets even crazier. The investigation on these new files makes it very obvious this was a rap industry hit. The news wrote, Diddy faces questions about his alleged role in Tupac's passing after being mentioned 77 times in a new legal filing. As the police noted, Diddy was also a part of the Cribs, just like Snoop Dogg was, which Suge Knight was trying to pin Tupac's passing on. But they also noted that on November 18, 1995, Tupac was photographed with Sean Diddy Combs' baby mom, Sarah Chapman. Diddy's on record saying Sarah was the one, his dream girl. So when she got with Tupac, Diddy did not like it. This resulted in his first attempt of having Tupac dealt with. I believe so. I do believe so. I have proved things that I can say that will back up my claim. But this is not for the world to know about. You know what I mean? It's between me and him, and only he knows. So every time he say it didn't happen, that's the only thing that made this become an issue to everybody. I was acting. We got shot 5 times in acts. Oh, I didn't get 5 times in their vision. I only got once because they found the book. The police found him, but now they the cops. Now they doing detective work. As with his first attempt being a failure, he would then try again. In the Diddy trial, it was announced former LAPD cop claims Diddy had Tupac dealt with for $1 million. Suge retaliated by having Biggie dealt with his court records revealed Diddy hired Keffe D to get Tupac. He then walked around for 20 years free after doing the crime, but the police finally arrested him, and he did an interrogation. During this interrogation, he did not know he was being recorded. He literally confessed Diddy was the lead man of the crime when trying to go home early. On all 4 of those occasions, there's San Diego, Anaheim, Irvine, and Vegas. Which ones do you actually talk to Puffy at? Every one of them. Every one of them. Which of those 4 is it when you talk to him about Murder Tupac? It was really about both of them. Either one of them. It was Tupac. Tupac and Sheenie. As QVED, the higher man to do the crime, said everything was Diddy's wish. And he even mentioned it was a lot easier than he thought. This would get the attention of a writer. His name is historian Jeff Pearlman. He wrote the famous Tupac biography, and he claimed that Tupac was not as tough as he portrayed. He was just playing a role, saying that he couldn't fight and didn't know how to even use a firearm because he died because all these guys sold him this lifestyle idea. But he wasn't it. He couldn't fight. He had no athleticism. He didn't know how to shoot. He didn't like he wasn't that guy, but he started to believe it. He method acted it. 100%.